Kieran with Coaches Corner Chats, and I want to give you my takeaways from the Ohio High School Athletic Association Division I boys soccer game between St. Ignatius and New Albany. First off, weather. The weather was a huge impact on this game. The entire week leading up to the game was 60 and 70 degree weather here in Ohio. Game time yesterday was high 30s and mid 40s, and it snowed throughout the night and the morning leading up to the game. So the field was super wet, meaning passes were hitting the ground and skipping. First touches were thrown off and were inconsistent. And that had a play on the game, especially for a team like St. Ignatius, who likes to control and connect. There were a number of little 1-2s or third man runs and balls played that I think would have been cleaner had the surface and the quality weather be much better. But needless to say, both teams had to deal with it. My daughter was with me and she said, man, if I was out there, I think I'd run a mile in the first 5 minutes, meaning the adrenaline is pumping. And that's what happened when it came out. Just a lot of energy, a lot of trying to figure things out. St. Ignatius is one of the top programs in the entire nation at the high school level. And they showed it yesterday. Technically really, really strong, can connect passes consistently through the midfield quickly and often. One of the things I said to my daughter was, New Albany just needs to weather the storm the first 10, 15 minutes. They know that St. Ignatius is going to come out pumped. They're fresh. They're not tired yet, and they're going to try to hit the knockout punch early. New Albany came out, and I thought was smart. They knew that, hey, St. Ignatius, super talented, lots of technical players on the field. Let's play solid defensively. Let's get through the first 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll figure things out from there. It was very much St. Ignatius on the attack in the first 10, 15 minutes, but I think most people would have expected. And then as the first half carried on, things started to become more played in the middle third of the field, and New Albany started finding some success going forward. Now, one of the things that they were doing a lot, New Albany, was they were playing so defensive. They only had one forward up front. So he was having to do a lot of work. So he was busting it. Just anything that he could do to kind of like just be a menace for the back four for St. Ignatius. And that would be a win, I think, in New Albany's eyes. The one thing that was clear as well was if New Albany could get an opportunity for a set piece, a corner kick, a throw in the attacking third, that was where they were going to have their most success. It was going to be difficult to keep possession, one, because of the weather, and two, St. Ignatius' ability to transition from attack to defense was so fast and so well positioned that it was really, really hard to, when New Albany got it, to actually progress forward. And the one thing I'll point out that you have to have at this point in the tournament is you have to have a good keeper. And I thought both teams' keepers made huge saves and were really, really smart in terms of their distribution, recognizing moment, position, time in the game, score. I was very, very impressed with both keepers, and actually a third keeper, which I'll bring up here toward the end of the video. Halftime, we go in at 0-0, and I knew at that point it was going to take something special to win this. It was going to be a mistake of some point. Early on in the second half, New Albany gets a ball into the attacking third and plays a ball across, and it goes right to one of their players who's inside the 6. And this is one of those things that we talk about with my team all the time. Moments, moments, moments. This was a moment to put New Albany up, and it had to be done quickly. So recognizing your position, the moment, the direction, all those things that coaches talk about all the time. This was one of those that needed to be a one-touch finish, and it would have been a goal. Instead, there was a setup touch, which allowed the keeper to slide across and make a heck of a save right on the goal line and keep New Albany out. We always talk about with games like this, there's going to be moments, and that was a moment that New Albany had an opportunity to change the entire momentum of the game and missed out on that opportunity. So flashing forward, what happened was it came down to a set piece. So I talked about it had to be something special, and off the corner, it wasn't a clear opportunity. It was a second ball. So the ball came in, it gets ricocheted. I believe it may have got headed twice, and their tall center back for St. Ignatius somehow generates enough power off us, just a straight jump in the air and his neck power to snap a ball, which was too much for one of the defenders for New Albany to handle. The one thing that I will give props to with New Albany was it would have been easy with whatever it was, 20 odd minutes to go, to let their head down, and they didn't. New Albany changes their setup a little bit and brings in a second striker, a second forward. The scary thing about that is as they brought more people to the front, that meant there's less that were maybe in the midfield or the ability to defend. And St. Ignatius just kept kind of picking away. They make a great negative ball into the box, and then just a heck of a finish by number 24. It hits the inside of the post and goes in. I thought New Albany did a nice job in terms of subbing, like trying to keep guys fresh. As most of us know, if you defend a lot, it is tiring. And I think it sort of took its toll, especially toward the end of the second half, because St. Ignatius kept coming. The goalkeeper for New Albany gets an apparent hand injury and has to be subbed out. Number 11, one of the center backs, and I believe a captain, came over while he was, the trainer was looking at the keeper and had his arm around the young man. You know, we talk about, things like culture and family and all these types of things, and you don't get to see it more than in really pressurized situations with adversity. And in this moment, things hadn't been going well. They're down 1-0. Keeper hurts his hand, and you couldn't really tell how bad it was going to be. The young man that came in as a keeper, and it may have been 3 minutes, 4 minutes tops that he played, and he makes this huge save. He does exactly what he has to do, and I thought that was inspiring from the side of New Albany being down 1-0, and then this kid steps in. When that second goal went in, which there was nothing a keeper could do, it wasn't a keeper that was going to save it. It was played so quickly. It was placed perfectly. As soon as you watch the St. Ignatius players go running by the keeper to the corner, you can see the center back giving the goalkeeper a big hug. And I think for me, that was the moment that stood out for me the most. It's those moments where in the adversity, in the time of recognizing man, we're down with, I believe it was 3 or 4 minutes, to take the moment and to say, look, man, I love you. I know we're down. Let's keep our head up, and then we're going to play on. There was quality of soccer played on both sides. St. Ignatius is one of the best high school programs in the nation. You have to play at a super high level. You have to play consistent. You can't make mistakes and give yourself an opportunity. It was really well coached. St. Ignatius did what they needed to do. New Albany has a great setup defensively and had opportunities on set pieces. Like I said, a clear goal scoring opportunity. The header goal by the young man for St. Ignatius was just one of those where you just that's just great play. And the finish by the young man for St. Ignatius was just a heck of a hit from just at the top of the box. Those are those little moments, one goes one way, one goes the other, but St. Ignatius is really stinking good. But this is Kieran. This is my breakdown. Those are my takeaways. Great job by both teams. See ya. Peace.